Hello everyone and welcome back to Crawl's Gaming. Today we are going to take a look at Mirage Perfect Skyline. This new Asian mobile MMORPG promises to allow you to experience all the MMO greatness in the palm of your hand. Mirage Perfect Skyline is available on both Android and iOS completely for free. Some things in life you just don't refuse. Things like an increase in your pay or going out for a beer with your friends. We as gamers also never refuse a good game, especially if it is free. And when such a game appears on a phone, it is even better. One of these cases, at least at first glance, seems to be the gorgeous MMORPG named Mirage Perfect Skyline. Mirage is coming from a Singaporean studio EU game that has almost 50 games in its portfolio. Giving the portfolio a closer look suggests two things. EU Game seems to like RPG genre the best, as almost all of their games on Google Play are in this genre. That is actually a good thing, as it shows focus and experience. The second is their love for the typical Asian anime stylization. And these two trends are also evident in Mirage Perfect Skyline. Thus, it is a mobile MMORPG in the traditional anime style. Sadly, the story of Mirage is also not original in any way. The core of the story is about a never-ending battle between the gods and demons in a place called Sorishi. We heard this premise 1,000 times in the past. On the other hand, we need to understand that the mobile MMORPG genre is quite popular, especially in Asia. And finding an original story will be getting harder and harder as the genre gets more and more overcrowded. But this also means the competition is large, and the quality of the game needs to be truly high to succeed. But going back to Mirage, I honestly do have one big problem with it as a non-Asian player. But the core is a classic mobile MMORPG with all its positives and negatives. A different and fairly balanced classes, a gorgeous 3D world to play in with a decent degree of freedom, quite good music, the standard and complex RPG system, or even the classical social functions that bring us to actually play MMORPGs. And as this is a mobile title, you also get a highly controversial automatic gaming systems. All of it works just as you would expect. But as a European, the game is just chaotic and confusing mess of Asian anime strangeness. And for the Western player, these can often be hard to digest. I can forgive the typical stuff like the big and cute eyes, strange costumes, huge cleavages, as these things will be obvious even from the screenshots, and if you don't like them, then just don't download it. But the chaos around cannot be overlooked. The thing is, Mirage Perfect Skyline is a large and complex MMORPG just as you'd expect. But also the traditional Asian experience, full of kitties, colorful pigs, monkeys, etc. Where more Western games use crystals or fragments or something, Mirage uses pigs. And this trend continues in the overall chaos of the world, where you will see winged horses alongside motorcycles. Yes, fantasy is great, but there should be some rules. Another disadvantage of Mirage is a lot of clutter and unintuitiveness. Don't expect to get a lot of clues on how to actually play. It's all about finding at least a tiny bit of order in all of the chaos. After you choose your character, for example, you will be thrown into the world and bam! After 3 flyovers over the world, a few conversations with a pig and a kitty, and 100 different effects full of text that will just appear, and suddenly you're level 50. On one hand, quick progress is nice, but it also removes the great feeling of leveling through gaining experience a Western gamer is used to. This may be compelling to some, but for me, it just ended up being annoying. And sadly, even the gameplay itself is confusing. Often you will find yourself just running from place to place searching for quests. And paradoxically, the best solution is just to put the game on autoplay. This actually results in the game being far more fun to look at, rather than actually playing it. At this point, I might be sounding harsh. but Mirage Perfect Skyline just closed its doors in just a few minutes after I installed it. Why have hundreds of quests and a gigantic world if all of it is just covered by layers of chaos? Finding your place and what to do in Mirage will end up being the biggest challenge. You will be constantly searching for where to go and what to do. And for a Westerner, the anime style makes everything even harder. And it's such a shame, because the mechanics and the complexity of Mirage are actually promising of great gameplay. But again, for a Westerner, all of this greatness is hiding under a deposit of Asian strangeness, flashing lights, and experience you get just for clicking OK. What is actually good about Mirage is the well-known fact that Asian developers look after their games on a technical level. Mirage works great, although you do have to have a decent device. I actually recently bought a new phone, which is quite powerful as it has the Snapdragon 888 chipset, and there it ran great. But when I switched to my older phone, the Xiaomi Note 9, it wasn't always exactly fluid gameplay. And I also have to mention the controls, as there was obviously a good amount of work put into making them comfortable. Nor should I forget about the great graphics and a nice soundtrack. And yeah, obviously there's also a shop in the game, as the developers need to make money in some way. But luckily, and quite surprisingly to me, for an Asian game, Mirage Perfect Skyline doesn't try to force you to buy that many things. So, in conclusion, Mirage Perfect Skyline is your typical MMORPG experience wrapped into classic Asian anime strangeness. Sadly, this makes it into confusion and, for many Westerners, unattractive chaos. But on a technical level, and even on a gaming level, it all works. I personally can't get over the chaos, but for those who are fans of Asian stylization, it is a good game. And since it's free, you should give it at least a try. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the review, and if you do, please consider giving the video a thumbs up here on YouTube, perhaps even subscribe to the channel, and yeah, be sure to comment because it really helps with the algorithm. See you guys later with more gaming content.